Monday to Friday, 12 to 3 p.m. with the big voice on radio. The big voice on radio. Don Valley, certified Camille. Certified.
It's the beginning of a new era.
Certified Camille. On the wheels and steels, the soundboy killer, DJ Xtreme. You are listening to the Darling Clinic.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Darling Clinic now.
You ready to 11:10 a.m. here in the studio. Yes, and definitely he ruled Richie. Said the soundboy killer DJ Xtreme is back on radio. We actually missed him. Welcome back. How was your leave? Cool. It was quite cool. Okay, it's 11:10 a.m. like I said earlier, and let me tell you slightly about Amaka. Amaka has been working at this new company for 6 months, and all of a sudden she began to notice that some of her colleagues would bully her at work, and some of the times they make fun of her, probably maybe what she's wearing or the kind of hairstyle she's rocking. And when she wins, she achieves something, they never celebrate her win. So now every morning she wakes up and she remembers she's going to head to work. She dreads it. She becomes scared of going to work and she doesn't know what to do. So what we are going to do on the show this morning is trying to find solutions for her. Welcome to Darling Clinic. Certified Camille is my name.
And I'm Cassey, the radio diva. Good morning. And talking about Amaka, I think I know someone that is exactly like Amaka. And so aside from me knowing the person, knowing someone in person, I also know that there are a lot of people out there who are listening to us right now that is just like Amaka, people who do not like going to their workplaces. Even today, that is on Monday, and that's because of their work environment. Well, today we will find out the signs of a toxic work environment, and we'll be having this conversation with Dr. Nasai, who is a clinical psychologist, on the show all the way from Lagos State, and he will be joining us via the phone.
Absolutely. You can also find us on our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as Darling FM 1073. You can check us out on Facebook. We are streaming live on Facebook now.
Darling TV, and just to tell you, the work environment did not tell us to wear black and a black top and a jean.
Yeah, it's a coincidence. It's black and what's going on? Oh my goodness! Even Xtreme is putting on black, So just go.
That's not what the work environment say we should put on today. I mean, it's a Monday, right?
And people usually dress in a different one Monday.
I think it's maybe kind of what we're doing. Just a freestyle thing.
All right, so go on. You'll see us in that video. Stay tuned.
Streaming live on the ones and twos. This is DJ Xtreme.
Nothing but club bangers.
This beat gon' mess you up.
Yeah, on the dance floor. Leave keys.
Run, hello. If I fall to kí ló pa ayé ojú ayé tí fẹ́ ta ayé pẹ̀lú street ọmọ àwọn guys ọmọ set ẹ̀ àwọn boys ọmọ bá wá ọmọ wá tó bá bẹ́ ọmọ bẹ́ tó bá gbà ọmọ gbà tó bá já ọmọ já how many boys don't die for the street? How many boys don't blow for the street? ọmọdé dọ́gbọ́n kí ọmọdé dọ́gbọ́n kí àgbàdọ́gbọ́n sí sàkóṣì dọ́gbọ́n sí sàkóṣì. Ayé nógò ayé mọ̀ ọ̀hún mọ̀ ó máa ṣọ̀kẹ́ ní ọdún yìí ó bá ń ṣọ̀pẹ́ bá ń bẹ̀ tẹ̀ ó padà wá bẹ̀ tẹ̀ tàlẹ́lẹ̀ 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 bọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ bọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ wẹ̀rẹ̀ dọ́wọ́mọ̀ ọmọ àṣọmọ̀gbọ̀n ó pè lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ dáṣánú tó bá fi ọ̀kan náà ṣó lè kí n lásàlọ́ wọn tí pọ̀ tó wà lè sá fún wọn tó bá wá a máa ṣe fún wọn tó bá wá a máa ṣe fún wọn. Ọ̀tọ̀ yẹn wọ̀ ọ̀tọ̀ yẹn wọ̀ ọ̀tọ̀ yẹn wọ̀.
Nothing but clubbers.
This beat gon' mess you up.
Yeah, on the dance floor.
To the program.
Everybody still Darling Clinic right here on the People's Radio 107.3 Darling FM. 15 minutes gonna pass here of 11 o'clock Monday the 15th day in the month of March 2021. My name is Cassey, the radio diva.
And I am certified Camille. We have DJ Xtreme on deck this morning, and we also have DJ Paul, who is making sure that we are streaming live on our social media platforms. All right, so we just connected with Dr. Nasser, who is a clinical psychologist,
yeah.
and he's on the line with us. Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning, doctor.
Hello, good morning. How are you doing?
We're doing very well. Happy New Week.
Thank you very much. I hope the week is going great.
Yes, it's going well. So we just narrated a story about Amaka, who works in a toxic work environment. She's quite scared of going to work. Her colleagues bully her. Sometimes they make fun of her. So we want to start this conversation by understanding what makes a workplace toxic.
What makes a workplace toxic is the management, the employees, and the general people who make a workplace a workplace. As long as a place makes you feel negative, as long as a place fills you have negative thoughts, and you every day that you think about going to work, you kind of lose all forms of motivation. You're always hitting your head, looking for an alternative route to success or towards employment. That environment where you find yourself is toxic, because the very definition of toxic is something that harms you. Yes. So if you feel in any way that you're going through emotional harm, physical harm, psychological harm, or social harm in your workplace, then your workplace is toxic. That is what makes that workplace toxic. It is harming you.
Okay. All right. So, Dr. Nasser, sometimes, like in the case of Amaka right now, it's all about just bullying. And in some other people, maybe it's not bullying and they still find that place toxic. So, what are other things that you can actually say, okay, these are the things that could make a workplace toxic for someone?
So, apart from bullying, we also have criticism, negative criticism in a very humiliating way, in a way that reduces the person's self-worth. This usually comes from, the higher ups of a particular person. We also have gossiping in a work environment that always makes you feel like this place is not for me, because everyone's suddenly against you, always saying something bad against you or against each other. You also have low motivation. There is no motivation for anybody, none of the employees, to actually do or carry out the responsibilities that they want to carry. You also have management or employers who are very demanding, who are very critical, who also do not allow you to breathe. They want your life to revolve around work, and they have no boundaries when it comes to you. And you also have an environment that does not listen to you despite you being hired for a particular job. So let's say that you're hired to do a particular job, but your employers constantly think that their own idea is better, regardless of the fact that they actually employed you so that you can carry out your job. So when your workplace does not allow you to actually do the job that you were employed for, then that's a toxic work environment also.
We're going to look at more of those signs and how to handle a toxic work environment shortly on the show. So stay with us. If you just tuned in, if you know someone who needs to listen to this conversation, tell the person they can listen to us from anywhere in the world, actually, on www.darlingfm.ng. There's a play button on that page. You click on the play button and you will be able to listen to us from anywhere in the world. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Darling Clinic will continue shortly.
Radio. 107.3 Darling FM. The People's Radio.
Influence your spider, count up the water spout.
Healthy Kid is a baby and infant tasty liquid that contains 20 bionutrients including omega-3, choline and inositol for brain development, memory and learning ability. It also contains vitamin A, vitamin D3, vitamin E, calcium, iodine and amino acids. Healthy Kids improves immunity and strong bones. Healthy Kid is NAFDAC approved and marketed by United African Laboratory and is available at all pharmacies near you. For further inquiries, call 0806 465 4812.
Dada loves Healthy Kid.
Healthy Kids for your baby's general good health. In accordance with the Nigeria Communications Commission, NCC's mandate to link every phone number to the user's national identification number, NIN, 9Mobile as your network of choice is making the exercise nice and easy. Simply dial *996#, verify and link your NIN. Better still, you can visit www.9mobile.com.ng/NIN to do the same. Remember, the stitching time saves all the 9Mobile benefits you've always enjoyed, so hurry now.
Listen to this announcement. The federal government of Nigeria, through the Federal Ministry of Health and the National Primary Health Care Development Agency, in conjunction with the Imo State Primary Health Care Development Agency and partners, will commence vaccination against COVID-19 disease across the 27 local government areas. There will be 4 phases of the vaccination program, with phase 1 starting from the 12th to 21st of March 2021 at designated health centers. Those to benefit from this first phase of the vaccination includes all the frontline health workers and other people working on the front line, such as security officers, transport workers, airport workers, patrol attendants, etc. Only vaccines approved and certified by the World Health Organization and the National Food and Drug Administration Commission, NAFDAC, will be administered. The COVID-19 vaccines will protect against infection with the virus and save lives, thereby helping to restore social and economic activities in the country and the world. This vaccination is totally free. Hurry now and get registered for vaccination to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your community. To register for this vaccination, please visit nphcdaict.com.ng/public-reg. This message is from the Imo State Primary Health Care Development Agency.
We are back to the program. Darling Clinic now.
Still 107.3 Darling FM, and of course Darling Clinic is still on, and we're talking about toxic work environment, how we can deal with it, and of course the signs and symptoms, and you knowing that where you're working is toxic. And we have Dr. Nasai, a clinical psychologist, to have this conversation with us. My name is Cassey, the radio diva,
and I am certified Camille. I remember the story one of my cousins shared, and she used to work at a bank, and then she starts to talk about how the manager, right, would favor a certain lady because he liked her, right?
Okay.
And then when they had a fight or something, it started, the fight started affecting the productivity at work. And after a while, then I had team this person and team that person, and it became really, really intense. So when you just get into the work environment, it's like just the atmosphere alone,
will actually show to you that things are not okay here.
This is quite hostile. Really. So I want to know some other signs. I know Dr. Nasser has mentioned he mentioned negative when you're advising negative criticism, right?
Yeah.
But I know there are some other signs that one might experience and say, okay, this place is actually very toxic. Dr. Nasser.
Yes, so like I said before the break, I said that signs of a toxic work environment is one, overbearing management that actually do not have boundaries, that expect your entire life to revolve around work, and also people who are not ready to listen to you, especially if it is your expertise. You know, they always want what they want to actually come into fulfillment. So let us say, for example, that I am the clinical psychologist of a particular organization, and I have some ideas regarding that particular team in that organization, but because the management feels like they know better, even though they do not let me actually carry out my responsibilities. So that is a sign of a toxic work environment, and people who are always quick, to blame you, to blame one another, is also a sign of toxic work environment. One person wants to push the blame onto the next person and then the next, because there is no accountability. Nobody wants to be thrown under the bus or something like that. So these are signs of toxic work environments.
Okay. All right. So, Dr. Nasser, I know sometimes people will usually tell you as a person, as an individual, if you have problem with a lot of people at your working place, then you should look at yourself. You might be the problem and not, the other people doing that. And sometimes a lot of us actually see ourselves in such, situation whereby it looks like everybody is attacking us, and we don't get to know why. So can you actually point out, like, you as a person now, the problem is not from you, it's just the place being toxic?
Well, when people usually say that, it is because even in a toxic environment, which of course I'm going to discuss that in solutions for toxic work environments, even in a toxic work environment, there are people of different personalities, people of different temperaments, and people of different ideologies. So let's say, for example, that everyone is against you. I'm sure that in a toxic work environment, you have someone who always likes to keep to themselves, and then you may have that person, maybe the person shouts at you for something, and somebody says, man, this will wait Timothy to shout at Nasir. It means, say, Nasir don't fuck up. For Timothy to shout at Nasir means that Nasir is really, really a problematic person, because Timothy may be the kind of person who usually doesn't talk regardless of what goes on in the office. So it is very important, because when people say that, it means that if everybody is against you, because everybody cannot be the same in a particular environment. So if everybody is against you, then it is time for you to do some introspection. But then there can also be times when you may think that there is nothing wrong, but you're just not a good fit for that particular place, because this is how you like it, this is how you think you want to run things. And people in that particular work environment do not operate like that. So you may not necessarily be a problem, or you may not necessarily have a problem, you're just not a good fit for that place. So it's very important to be able to identify such.
All right, well explained, but we actually like to apologize to some of our listeners who just heard that bleep. We apologize for that. All right, so we're going to go to some of the things that Amaka can do, working in this place that is toxic. I mean, it's a new job, 6 months. She's not even up to 1 year in that job. Some of the things that she can do, to cope. Should she even leave? Some people say, oh, if I work in a toxic place, I will just leave. But then there are people who have worked in toxic places for 5 years, 10 years, and they're still in that place. So we're going to look at what Amaka can do shortly. So stay with us if you are in that situation, or if you have a story to share with us. You've had this experience. Bring it on. We're here to listen. 0815-050-1073 is the phone number that you can call.
Or you can also drop a message for us on our Facebook page, Darling FM 1073. And yes, we're going to read it out.
It's going down. City to city, coast to coast. Right here. Can't go wrong with you, dig? Right now. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
She for just to the side, man now. Give her the time, so of course I know say me go give her the wine. Now she say oh me is a one of a kind, and that's how she became mine. And see that, can't believe I, can't believe I, taking girl away from me, no God. Can't believe I, can't believe I, taking girl away from me, no God.
She wanna rich, not a broke one. She a Boston, she get her own money. Slim picky with a booty, yeah, she know it. That shit, love that. Got a man know well, I'm like so. What got to do with us when we lost in the moment? And I'm deep in the ocean. I bet he can't believe that.
Can't believe I, can't believe I, taking girl away from me, no God. Can't believe I, can't believe I, taking girl away from me, no God. Now the whole place I talk about the youth from New York that give her the sparks. And I'm a straight jeans pants, I'm a wall big clocks. The boy say, oh me not in a class. Show him I give her all of the money in the world. Never know say he would have lose him to a regular youth. We a give her the time and plus she say me well cute. And see that, him can't believe I, can't believe I, taking girl away from me, no God. Can't believe I, him can't believe I, taking girl away from me, no God. Girl, come give me like a hands up, give me like a hands up, give me hands up, give me hands up, give me hands up. Girl, come give me like a hands up, give me like a hands up, give me hands up. Show me love, girl, free your mind. Give me like a wine and I'ma make you mine. Yeah, pretty girl, I'll make you mine. I know you didn't come along, that's why you really shy. Baby girl, come free your mind. Plenty love to give, I wanna hold you tight. Baby girl, I hold you tight. I wanna squeeze, wanna tease, wanna please. Baby girl, I want it one more time. Yeah. Can't believe I, can't believe I, taking girl away from me, no God. Can't believe I, can't believe I, taking girl away from me, no God.
The #1 music station. The best music live and direct. This is 107.3.
Something. What you wanna drink, girl? Body so soft, you don't need no Switzerland. When you love the sweet, take my kid a cream sauce. I said, boy, you wanna need the last 6 hand down. Wobble it. Hey, watch, come on, stop. Mark van, come on, touch you will make it my chocolate.
Bumba clap. And now old man again. Chop. Some gal, a big friend. 50 now old man again. Chop. 50 now old man again. Chop. 50 now old man again. Grab a gal, grab a man. Then way fast, wine slow. What's a wine punch up? Way fast, wine slow. Every gal want wine punch up.
Come on, wine for me, mommy, like you doing a bitch. Wrong things like you see on television. Yeah, can you feed a nigga? Can I bring you to my kitchen? Voordat ik terug ga naar Nederland en je me gaat missen. Yeah, I just wanna have fun. Think y'all call me. Ben hier met Stefan. Ben hier met Stefan. Zet je ass en ik smash het net badminton. Wobble it. Hey, wacht, schommel het, stop. Mark van bommel het. Tot je wil meer dan mijn chocolate.
Bumba clap. And now old man again. Now old beg friend. Fit me now, old man again. Chow, fit me now, old man again. Chow, fit me now, old man again. Grab a girl, grab a man, then way fast, wine slow. What's a wine punch out? Way fast, wine slow. Every girl want wine punch out. Coming at them dance and them want dance. Coming at them place and them mash up it. Everybody say we in the cockpit. Dance, I don't dance properly.
Never stop mixing only the hottest tracks. Say yeah! Kick it from the top. This is DJ Xtreme.
Health news in 60 seconds.
Shops, restaurants and schools will be closed across most of Italy on Monday, with Prime Minister Mario Draghi warning of a new wave of the coronavirus outbreak. For 3 days over Easter, 3rd to 5th April, there will be a total shutdown in Italy. The country has reported more than 100,000 COVID-related deaths. An AIDS vaccination program has been hit by delays, as has been seen elsewhere in the European Union. In the U.S., top U.S. infectious disease expert Dr. Anthony Fauci says it will be a game changer if ex-President Donald Trump encouraged Republicans to get the COVID-19 vaccine, noting that it will make all the difference in the world. A recent U.S. opinion poll showed as many as 49% of Republican male supporters did not want to get vaccinated. In Japan, Japanese government have donated $9.6 million to WHO and UNICEF to strengthen health programs through immunization in the Pacific region. And finally, Facebook is rolling out a handful of new tools on its platforms to help people get vaccinated against COVID-19. The tech giant, which owns Instagram and WhatsApp, announced on Monday that it will use its platforms to help assist users in learning more about COVID-19 vaccines, including where and when they can get vaccinated.
You are listening to Darling Clinic.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Darling Clinic now.
Darling Clinic is still on with yours truly, Cassey, the radio diva.
And certified Camille. We have Dr. Nasser on the line. He's a clinical psychologist, and we've been having this very interesting conversation about toxic work environment. And we asked you to, share your story with us if you've had a similar experience.
All right, 0815-050-1073, the number for you to call. Hello.
Well, good morning, Cassey. Good morning, certified Camille.
Good morning.
I'm Sonny calling from Omoguma.
All right, Sonny, go ahead.
Okay, I want to contribute on the topic of today. We say that they're working in an environment that is not suitable. Honestly, when you work on the environment or when you work in the office that something that is not making you happy is the work to happen to you. When you get to the office, you don't have a working material, you don't have a table, you don't have a working material, not good working material, you don't have fan, you don't have air condition. It will make you to lose passion on the work. When you talk about also the pay, also the pay. When you look at what you contribute or what you put in at the end of the month, the pay is not what you expected. It's also another factor that making you to dislike the job. You understand? Hello, I listen.
Yeah, we can hear you. We're listening to you loud and clear.
So my advice is that the employer, they should look at the working environment. You understand? Look at the working environment, making it to be suitable for the employee workers work. And when you work in a good environment, you see the productivity will be there. But when you work in an environment that is not suitable, and at the end of the month you be owing salary and other entitlements, there's no promotion, there's no conversion, there's no other entitlements, you make it to lose passion on the job. Even when you remember in the morning, especially on Monday that you're going to work, you know that in fact,
yeah.
you will not say, in fact, the whole thing is that the money is being paid workers is not something to write from about.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for that contribution. Oh, well.
Okay.
That's another angle. We've moved from well, that could cause the environment to be toxic as well, right? You go to work and you don't have a desk.
A desk.
So you're just roaming up and down in the workplace.
A condition or something too.
No, let's have
Dr. Nasser. I think he should actually answer. Could actually this one also contribute to saying that your work environment is toxic?
Hello, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. Cassey is asking.
I'm asking. You heard what the caller said, right?
Yes, I do.
So, can one comfortably say that these things can actually contribute when you say your work environment is toxic?
Well, it actually depends on the context of what particular work you're doing. I heard the caller make mentions of air conditions, and not all workplaces can actually afford that, depending on the kind of job you do. But basic amenities are necessary in order for you to carry out your duties. And it's still part of what we said earlier, that when those things are not provided for you cannot carry out your duties, and then people blame you for not being able to carry out your duties, forgetting that they were the ones who stopped you from carrying out your duties because they didn't provide the material. So yes, that's a toxic work environment that can also contribute.
Okay. All right. So I read something recently on the internet. This is a young girl who said she loves writing. And as she said, but the thing about writing is that she got this work newly, and the people around her, everybody, whenever she brings idea, they always discourage it and make her feel like she doesn't know what she's doing. And apparently right now she's no longer a writer. She's now into beauty stuff, and she said that made her to detest, that made her to hate writing, which initially was her passion. So can a toxic work environment actually make you to dislike your passion, things that you love doing, but because the place is not conducive for you, can it make you to dislike it even if you're no longer working that place?
Yes, and yes. We cannot stress this enough. I think that people forget that a toxic work environment has adverse effects on your mental health, which can then lead to severe mental health issues like depression and other things that can then affect your productivity in life and can make you hate something. And then you realize that something that you love doing so much, like writing, for example, would always be closely related to your traumatic experiences at your workplace, your toxic work environment, which can make you hate doing that thing you once loved. So, yeah.
Okay. All right, so we'll take this call and then we'll find out what we can do to cope with it. Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Cassey and Dr. Nasser.
Hi, good morning. What's your name?
My name is Moshe.
All right, Moshe, good to hear from you. Go on.
Yeah, I really want to comment you guys for this topic. And looking at it critically in this country, most of the environment where we actually our workspaces they have this stability. We can all over it. It's very rare you see workplaces where you don't really experience that, and I just hope the employers of labor and those involved are probably listening to make workplaces more healthy, because when you are staying in a toxic environment as your workplace, to an extent it affects you mentally, physically. It might even shorten your lifespan. These are things we really need to talk and address. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Moshe, for that. Yes, it's important that we begin to address these issues, and that's why we're having the conversation on radio this morning. So if you also have a question or a contribution, you can call in on 0815 050 1073. 0815 050 1073 is the phone number that you can call. And you can also find us live on Facebook, right?
Yeah, Talent TV. And of course, we've got a post there, so feel free to go down there and drop your comments.
All right, welcome back, Dr. Nasser.
Thank you.
All right. So we want to look at some of the things that, we share the story of Amaka, some of the things that Amaka can do to cope in that toxic environment.
Okay, so before I quickly go into that of Amaka, I really want to say something as to what you mentioned earlier about someone who is always having problems with everyone at work, and sometimes you can think it's not from them or something. It is important that in situations like that we have to speak to people. Okay, confront your colleagues, ask them what you think or what they think the problem is and how you can do better, and where they think you have issues as a person and as a colleague. That can go a long way towards building communication in a workplace. In a market situation, from what I gathered, it's mostly about bullying some colleagues. In that kind of situation, the first idea thing to do would be to actually report to the HR of that organization. That is, if the HR is functional. Why I say that is because the reality of HR in Nigeria is really not what it is supposed to be. So you just have to hope that the HR is a very functional HR that can then bring this thing to par, because part of the HR consists of industrial and organizational psychologists who are actually trained to deal with work environment, conflict, workplace bullying, and etc. So that is where it actually really benefits her, the HR coming into place and dealing with things with her colleagues. Because if she were to do it herself, things may escalate really quickly and it becomes something of Amaka versus her colleagues, and everything is blown out of proportion.
Wow.
Okay.
That's another way to look at it. I'm hoping that they have an HR.
So environment when it's not just bullying, when it has to do with other toxic things that can make the place not suitable for you, how should one handle it?
Okay, so you made mention of the fact that someone, that we have people who have been working in the workplaces, in toxic workplaces for about 5 years, right? And yes, I don't know how they do it, but we have people like that, and one way is to get to set boundaries for themselves. Okay, you realize that you're going into work, you have to do your job. Now, one thing that makes toxicity thrive in workplaces is when it's because we enable it. Okay, we actually allow it. Somebody comes to complain to you about your boss, and what you say is, he's just being who he is. Leave him. No, he's toxic, but nobody wants to address it because nobody wants to lose their job. And right now, the unemployment rate in Nigeria is actually very, very severe. So in as much as I would love to tell you to quit your job, walk out of that place, I also have to be very realistic. Okay, where is your next meal going to come from? My first advice would be for you to walk out of the toxic work environment. It is not worth your sanity, it is not worth anything. But when we are being realistic in a country like Nigeria, where the next job is going to be very hard to get, this is where you have to divide yourself, okay? If you know that you can carry out your job without involving your personal life, without letting it trouble your emotions, there are so many ways you can do that. One way is to divide your emotions, divide your sensibilities. You know that you're giving one part of yourself to your workplace and you're setting boundaries. So one thing I did effectively was that I decided that at the end of work hours, I was going to shut down my work phones. I wasn't going to check my emails till the very next day when I had to go in at work. If an employee is calling me, if a colleague is calling me, I wasn't going to pick their calls, and I let them know that once I am out of work, I am out of work. Everything concerning work stays at work, and I am back to my personal life. Setting boundaries are very important for you to fight in a place that otherwise makes you feel like shit. Having a good support system cannot be emphasized enough. You may be able to get friends in that workplace with people who share the same feelings as you do. And talking about these things can go a very long way towards making you feel better and letting you know, oh, you know what, I'm actually not alone in this shit. And when toxicity comes up again, you have a support system that you can talk about it, let it out before it eats you up inside. Having a good support system at home also makes you feel better, which is something I would always love about our parents' generation. They come back from work, oh, how did your day go? You talk about it, you laugh about it, you make some inside jokes to each other about a colleague, and the next day you go to work knowing that you sorted out the previous day's issue. You're coming to work, you're doing your job, but you're not doing it with emotions. You're not putting your personal feelings into this. You have the idea that I am just here to do what I have to do, what I am paid to do. And it is important. I always tell people in toxic work environments, especially places where they will always blame you for every little thing, document everything. Okay, places that will be so fast to throw you under the bus, document everything. If you're asking for 5 naira to get water, please document it. So that when issues arise from the management, you have your proof. Because these are a lot of things that actually make people feel very terrible about themselves, because even though they are saying the truth, they have nothing to back it up with. And you see, they are being easily thrown under the bus because they do not document the thing, they do not complain. make a complaint to the HR so that when things actually escalate, you can then say that, oh, I brought it to the notice of the HR, because toxic work environments always like to make you feel like the bad person. They gaslight you a lot. They ask you, oh, but you did not bring this issue up, you didn't do this. So when you have covered all your tracks, you know that then there will be no room for them to actually throw you under the bus or blame you in any way or criticize you. And if you think that you're working, even what you're doing is good, you should have senior colleagues you can go and meet. Okay, what can I do better as a person? And if you feel like criticism cannot actually help you do better in your workplace, you should talk it out with them.
All right. Stay with us. We'll continue shortly.
Radio. In accordance with the Nigeria Communications Commission, NCC's mandate to link every phone number to the user's national identification number, NIN, 9Mobile as your network of choice is making the exercise nice and easy. Simply dial *996#, verify and link your NIN. Better still, you can visit www.9mobile.com.ng/NIN to do the same. Remember, a stitching time saves all the 9Mobile benefits you've always enjoyed, so hurry now.
Jiri akụkọ BBC News Igbo mee ka ụwa gị bakwuru gị uru, n'ihi na ị ga-aghọtagodi ụwa tupu ịchọba mmiri. Jiri akụkọ ụwa si ebe a n'ụwa niile kpalite mmụọ gị maka ịghọta ihe ọrụ nyere n'ụwa. Ị ga-egberi ihe ọbụla mee ka ụwa gị bakwuru gị uru. Chọta BBC News Igbo.
107.3 Darling FM, the People's Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, Darling Clinic now.
All right, we have Dr. Nasai, who is a clinical psychologist, and of course, together we're talking about toxic work environment. My name is Cassey, the radio diva,
and I am certified Camille. And once again, I actually want to apologize for some language that you might just have heard, and you just was like I did at some point. Really apologize for that. But we are getting towards the end of the program, where we would want to find out what leaders, employers who know or might have noticed that their work environment is toxic, what they can do to actually make it better. And that's what we're going to wrap up the conversation with. So Dr. Nasser, what are some of the things that these employers can do? I mean, they're the ones who own the place.
Yes, they are. And this is like, when the work environment is toxic, or the employer is actually the cause or is part of a contributor to the toxicity. But one thing that employers can do is to run a collaborative organization. Okay? Running a collaborative organization means that everybody has a say in that organization. Everybody feels like they can be heard in that organization. Now, you're going to hear a lot of ridiculous things from your colleagues, but it is important that you validate them so that they actually feel empowered enough to speak up the next time. It is also important that you host regular meetings amongst your teammates, amongst your employees, because this is an opportunity for them to iron out the conflicts that they've had previously and work on ways to be better. When a workplace is collaborative, when regular meetings are had, when constant trainings are done, and the HR is on par, when everybody does what they're supposed to do ethically, you'll find that toxicity will be either very minimal, because we'll have people who are troublemakers naturally, or toxicity will be eliminated because procedures have been put in place to actually reduce the effect of toxicity in the workplace. Once in a while, encourage your teammates, let them know that they are valued in the organization. This person did something nice. Praise them. Ways that so many companies do is, they send newsletter, they do face of the week in a particular theme, they give out gifts, souvenirs and something, just to make the teammates feel encouraged and valued at that workplace. And when people feel this way, they will keep on putting maximum effort because there is love and understanding in that organization.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nasser, for joining us on Darling Clinic this morning.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye. Have a great
nice day. All right, so I think I've learned a lot, and of course, you that is employer of labor, so you should know that it's not just getting money or making your own money. You also have, your role to play, other things to do to make sure that the work environment is safe and conducive for the people who are working for you. Thank you so much, DJ Xtreme. Yeah, we said we missed you. I didn't want to, join my own place actually because I did it before you came in. But hey, welcome back. And of course, thank you, DJ Paul, for making the stream and so seamless for us this morning. Really appreciate. And also to you listening to us, we appreciate. Also to people who called in, thank you so much. Darling Clinic will be back tomorrow, same time, 11 a.m. and of course, same station, 107.3 Darling FM. My name is Cassey, the Radio Diva.
And before I sign out, I would want to say thank you to Chris Kachi, who sent in his comment on Facebook. Says that he thinks that Amaka has got he has a problem with self-esteem, upbringing, and the ability not to adapt or pretend to like in that workplace. But we've seen that we've listened to Dr. Sarah, and we know that it has nothing to do with that, right? And Ifeanyi Promise, who also left us a comment on our live stream. Thank you. At 12 o'clock, our Pidgin English News Nigeria Today will be up. Don't miss it.